Many farmers refused to surrender. The National Farmers Holiday Association urged its members to stay at home, buy nothing, and sell nothing, as a way to force Hoover to set a minimum price for grain. But people were already buying and selling nothing, farmers and city folk alike. It was as if all of American capitalism were held by ice in a deep winter freeze. "I feel the capitalist system is doomed," said the head of one farmers group. By 1932, nearly one-third of all farmers on the plains forced foreclosure for back taxes or debt. Nationwide, 1 in 20 were losing their land, and since more Americans still worked on a farm than any other place, it meant every state was swimming in the same drowning pool. Farmers charged the courtroom in Lamars, Iowa, demanding that a judge not sign any more foreclosure notices. He was dragged from the courthouse and taken to an empty county fairgrounds. There, a rope was strung around his neck and tied to a tree. The judge's life was spared by cooler heads. The farmers were rounded up by the Iowa National Guard and detained behind a makeshift barbed wire outdoor prison. "Unless something is done for the American farmer, we will have a revolution in the countryside in less than 12 months," Edward O'Neill of the American Farm Bureau told Congress at the beginning of 1932. It wasn't just wheat that had sunk below the cost of producing it. Milk, cattle, and hogs were all in the same depressed situation. Farmers continued to block and spill milk on the streets. If the American farmer went down, they warned in angry protest, they would take the rest of the country with them. "The greatest emergency ever faced this country in a time of peace is confronting it now," said Congressman Wilburn Cartwright of Oklahoma. In no man's land, the Fulker family learned to use their wheat for something in every meal. They ground it for harsh breakfast cereal, sifted it to make flour for bread, blended it in a porridge with rabbit meat at dinner. Fred Fulker's life's work had become worthless, and the despair drove him to his jars of corn whiskey. He could not control the weather. He could no longer plow any additional land. Every bushel of wheat harvested led him deeper into poverty. His homestead was a quicksand of debt. The new house he had built by hand, the Model T, the new kerosene cook stove, the piano that he and Catherine had purchased for their daughter Faye. He might lose it all. He would need 2 years, maybe 3, of prices back up in the high range, $1 or more a bushel, just to pay his debts, just to get even. Catherine was homesick and wanted to go back to Missouri again. She cried at night, dreaming of green valleys with land of trees. But Fulkers said it wasn't any better in the Midwest. They had to hold on and hope that next year would be better. During the boom years, Fulkers had been wise enough to put some money away, but now his savings were gone, wiped out in the banking collapse. He withdrew into a paralysis, blank face, sulking around the homestead, taking to his fruit orchard, the one thing that still gave him hope. At night, he sat in a chair, his fingers tapping away, going over the figures in his head. Faye never saw her father so broken. Outside, the wind blew with a callous edge. It would come in hard from the southwest, and then shift, pick up intensity, and barrel in from the north. The wind was always there in no man's land, even when it was just lying low, between breaths. It seemed different now, in the early stages of a dry spell, hotter and harsher, as if it sucked the life out of anything it touched. Spring of 1932 was too dry to plant, and with no ground cover, some of Fulker's land began to peel away. It takes a wind of 30 miles an hour to move dirt. At 40 or 50, it's a dust storm. Fulkers tried to keep his orchard alive through the spring and summer of that first dry year. In the evenings, he hauled water by milk pail from the tank to the orchard. But the heat bore down on the trees, pests swarmed on the leaves, and what little fruit came out after the bud quickly browned and shriveled like raisins. One thing that did grow was Russian thistle, as Doc Dawson found his land just south of Dalhart, Texas. The tumbleweeds blew against the Fulkers' barbed wire fences, forming a barrier that trapped blowing dust. The children hauled the tumbleweeds away from the fence and stacked them in the cow lot for winter feed. "We might need it," he said. Feeding tumbleweeds to cattle. It was a frontier in American agriculture, not the one prophesied by the government.